Hi everybody, I am doing a store critique here, two store critiques, two different student stores that I have been asked to take a look at and point out what could be improved on the stores to improve the conversion rate. So first of all, to improve the bounce rate, which is the percentage of visitors who arrive on the page and immediately leave again because they don't like what they see, it doesn't appeal to them, and also the percentage of visitors who actually will go on to make a purchase. Now, this first store here, this is a jewelry store, and the theme is flower theme. So it's a flower themed jewelry store. So the jewelry on here, it all is along the theme of flowers. Now, the first thing I want to say here, although these store critiques are not about the niches really, but I do want to point something out about this particular niche. I think it's very narrow, and I think, when drop shipping, that there may be an issue actually getting enough of a variety, so enough products really, if you're sticking to this one niche. Now, the name of the store, Flowerly Jewelry, there's nothing wrong with that. You could expand into different types of jewelry and still keep that name, because it's not flowery, it's flowerly. So that word itself, flowerly, that could actually be a brand name, so there's nothing wrong with that. Now, this is the home page, and first of all, I want to point out that this banner image here on the home page, there's nothing wrong with having a big banner image, but this is very dull. It's very bland, and it's a little bit dark as well. It doesn't really do anything. There's no jewelry being showcased on this banner, because when you scroll down here, what happens is that you can't see the jewelry. All you can see is the chain. You can't see the actual piece itself. So in fact, this whole banner, the focus of this banner is this rose, whereas the focus of the banner should be some really nice jewelry pieces. And when you've got a jewelry store, you really want your store to sparkle, because that's what jewelry is all about. If you look at my demo store, the demo store here in the course, which is also a jewelry store, there is actually no banner on that particular store because the theme doesn't have a banner. But nevertheless, if you look at that store, if you look at the store, the screenshots and the images in the lectures, you will see how that really does kind of sparkle. So I have actually made that store really quite appealing and as a jewelry store. So the first thing to look at here is changing this image. This image needs to be improved a lot. Now, the second thing is up here. This is good, buy 3 and get 20% off. Here's your purchase code, save 20, but it doesn't stand out. So this here, white on very pale pink, is not standing out. So I would change the color of that writing. Perhaps it could be like a mauve color or something so that it stands out. Okay, now let's scroll on down, and this is the home page. Now, this is not a particularly good layout for the home page, because if you're going to have a big banner like this, then you really need to have products straight away below the banner instead of a huge logo. Now, there is nothing wrong with that logo, but it's way, way too big. And then a bit about who are we. That's not the place to put this. At the top of the home page is not the place to put this. And this logo here, this should be in the banner somewhere. So you should have it up here, perhaps at the top left as a small logo. That's what I would do here. So you've got all this space here, which is pretty much wasted on your home page. Now, for the who are we, you should have an about us page, and you should make that a little bit more. Let's just go down here and see. Yeah, you don't have an about us page. So if you created an about us page for this, who are we, and then expanded on that, make it into a proper page, and just took this away from here and this away from here. So your home page should be showcasing your products really That's really what it should be doing. Now, the other thing I want to point out is this may not be the case on all browsers, but I'm using Chrome, that this here is not particularly good. Like when I hover my mouse over an image, the image disappears. Now, I understand that's what it's supposed to do, but it's not actually a very good setup. So I would definitely look at changing, perhaps even changing the theme for this. So let's just scroll on down a bit more. So we have the shipping and the refund policy and the FAQs. Just going to take a quick look at the FAQs here. This is fine, but down here, how can I stay in the loop? Follow us at Flowery Jewellery on Facebook, but there is no link. So this should be a link here, and this should link to your Facebook page. Now down here, the bottom right, now I believe this is Facebook Messenger, but it's not very obvious. In fact, it's not even noticeable. Much better to use the app that I advise you to use in the course. The one I recommend is the Facebook chat app. So this one here is perhaps a different one, or it's a different layout of it, but I recommend you use the big square box because otherwise this is not even going to be noticed. Now let's take a look at the contest. Contest, by the way, while you're running it, it's a good idea to have that up, a link in the top menu here. Be entered to win a free necklace. Okay, so we will announce 5 winners on January the 3rd to our Facebook page. So if this contest has been run already, there are no questions here. I don't know if you ran this contest or not, or whether you were just thinking about running it and you haven't actually run it. But if you have, then you should have the winners down here. So you should have the winners listed here as well, so people can see it's real and it really did happen. And then when you do the next contest, the next time, I advise you to have a link up here. And of course, you'll have your questions here and your form for entering the contest right here. Now I'm going to click on shop. From what I can see here, there are only 4 products on this store. Now that's not going to be enough for a jewelry store. So you've got 3 pendants by the looks of it, and also a ring. So there isn't enough choice here, to be perfectly honest. If you're going to do jewelry, then you need at least 30 plus items, and you want to have a variety. So you want to have things like bracelets, bangles, brooches, and that kind of thing, as well as pendants, necklaces and rings. So you need more products on here for a start off. The way these are showcased as well, the images, this is not particularly good. You should have images with a transparent or white background. The way that I have them on the demo store here, Pimp My Bling, notice there that I have, with almost all of them, I have only actually listed products on the store where I can get images, good images with a white or transparent background. And that really is going to look so much better than these block images that have things in the background that I'm not sure what they are. I mean, these are just props, but they don't really mean anything. So I would definitely not have images like that with props like that in the background. Let's just take a quick look at the shipping. Okay, so it looks like this store is drop shipping from AliExpress, which is fine. But if you're drop shipping from AliExpress, there's no excuse not to have a big variety of products on the store, of jewelry products on the store, and also to pick products that have those really great images with the white or transparent background. So you're looking for the images that really sparkle and really do showcase and sell the pieces of jewelry. So anyway, there's quite a bit of work to be done on this store. Let me just click on the menu here, make sure I haven't missed anything. No, that's fine. So yeah, there's quite a bit of work to be done on this store. It is a good start, but it does need a lot of improvement. This store will not convert as it stands right now. So some work to be done here, perhaps even look at changing the theme. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. Now, with this next one, this is a pet supply store. Now, the first thing I want to say is that the sign up for updates. This is not going to be very appealing, just saying sign up for updates. So what you really want here is get 15% off your first order, enter your email to get your coupon code, something like that, okay? But it's good that you've got the actual opt-in form here coming up. Now, the actual images here on the banner, it's a slider. These are all very good. They're all very clear. That's a lovely image there. That's also a lovely image there. So all of these images here, they're not stretched, distorted or blurry. So that's good. And this is okay up here as well. There's nothing wrong with that. So now scrolling on down on the home page here. And this is actually a nice layout. So we've got some products at the top, which is what we really want. And then scrolling down, we've got the collection list. So we've got grooming, travel, collars, other, feeding, and then we've got some of these necklaces and keychains and that kind of thing. Now that's nice. This is a nice colour scheme as well. Now we know, or I know from what the students told me, that she is going to work on this logo, because clearly a logo needs to have a transparent background. So this isn't really any good as a logo, but I know that she's going to work on that. Now let me just see here. Okay, I just want to point out something about this writing that's coming across here on the slider. Most definitely, I would get rid of that. It doesn't actually help the image at all. It spoils the image. I would definitely get rid of that. You don't need to say this, your trusted store for pet products. Looking for a gift for your furry best friend. You don't need to say that either. I would just get rid of that writing completely. Everybody knows when they see a header banner like this, everybody knows that you scroll down. So anyway, as I say, this is a nice layout. There's nothing wrong with this layout here. This particular image here, I would most definitely replace this with a different product because it's very small in a great big space. So that's a waste of space there. So choose another product for here, something that's bigger. It's going to take up all the space. All right, that's going to look a lot better if you do that. But this is all fine. And this is all fine. Just click through a few of the pages here. Let's look at About Us. And this is a good About Us page. If you can, try and tidy up the formatting a little bit. If you see between these two paragraphs here, the correct spacing, you have the correct spacing, but here and here you don't. Here and here you've got too much space. Looks like you've got two spaces here instead of one, same with here. And here you've got the correct spacing. So just try and tidy that up a bit, make it look a bit more professional, but the content looks good. Got a chat box down here. This is good. Charles Malone, chat with us. I'm not sure why you have this. You should actually have Paul Street Pet Supply, chat with us, and here an image, not just like a blank icon thing. So if you could change that, and that's fine. Other than that, that's fine. Even better, by the way, if you can use the Facebook one. Everybody now has Facebook Messenger. Everybody uses Facebook Messenger. So the Facebook one, if you can, is better. It's also easier, but it's up to yourself, you know, but definitely change this here from your name to the name of the store. Let's have a look at the Get Help page. All right, so this is your Contact Us page. Just looking for the store address on here. Right, it's down here. Okay, that's fine. You have the store address. You could also put the email address here on the Contact Us page as well, and not just the email address, but what you could also do on the Get Help page is that you could put the email address, and also you could indicate that the visitor or the customer can contact you by chat. So I would definitely put that information here above the form. So give them options for getting in touch with you. I'm not seeing any link anywhere to a Facebook page, so don't forget about your Facebook page because that is important. People give more credibility to a website that has a Facebook page. It's kind of expected. It's the social proof. They feel more comfortable. It feels less anonymous to them if there's a Facebook page. It feels much less anonymous if there is a Facebook page associated with the store. And maybe there is, but I haven't seen it. Now, if I haven't seen it, your visitors are going to miss it as well. Now, there is a slight problem here in that I'm on this page and I can't get back to the home page from here. I have no way of getting to the home page now, back to the home page, unless I actually click the back arrow. Same with this page here. In fact, it's same with all of the pages, I think. Yeah, same with all of the pages. The only way to get back to the home page is to click the back arrow because you don't have a menu. So you're going to need to have a menu. Now you've got the footer menu, that's fine, but you'll need a menu somewhere else so that people can navigate to the home, back to the home page. Right, so that's important because what will happen is somebody goes down to the footer, perhaps goes to one of these pages down here, and then if they can't get back easily, if it's not obvious how to get back to the home page, they're just going to leave and you are going to actually, lose that customer. You're going to have to put some explanation here as to why this is going to take so long. I think you might have some kind of explanation on the About Us page. Let's have a look. No, not really. So even if you did have, you do need to put something here. You need to give a reason as to why your delivery is going to take so long. But okay, so this isn't a bad site at all, right? This is a nice site to look at. Again, difficult to get to the home page, so I'm back to pages and navigate around, so you need to look at fixing that. But this is a nice site to look at. It's aesthetically pleasing, just with the logo issue there, but I know you're going to fix that. Fix this here, make this change this product. Yeah, make it a product that's going to fill up all this space here. The layout though, there's nothing wrong with this layout here of this page, nothing at all. One thing you might want to look at is you might want to make the savings a bit bigger. Save 94 cents and save 83 cents. That's not really of a lot of interest to most people. So what you want to be doing here is, this is an Adidas dog style hoodie and it's a $24.90 product, but they're only saving 83 cents. So that saving is like pretty much nothing. It's not even worth having. So what you want to be looking at here is increasing the price of this. Increasing the price before the saving. Save $9.99 or something, or save $9.55, something like that, making it look as if it's worthwhile. You don't change the price that you're selling at. If this is the price that you have decided that you need to sell at in order to make sure that everything's covered and you're making a profit, that's fine. All you do is you change this. You change the sale badge. So some things, if it's a very low cost thing, then obviously you don't need to make it look as if there's a big saving. But if you've got something that is costing over $20, you want to make the saving look a lot better, a lot more appealing, a lot more attractive. Take a quick look on this now, finally. This particular one here needs improving, so you need to find something, a paw necklace that has a white background so that it looks better than this. Okay, so you need to change that, and you definitely want to be looking at, perhaps bringing this price down a bit. And I'm quite sure this is just $1 or $2 on AliExpress. So, you want to look at selling that for something like $9.99 and then showing a saving of $6, something like that. The other images are good though, that's fine. Okay, so this store is looking good. It needs a few improvements, but it doesn't need a huge amount of improvements. And one of the biggest things that I pointed out here was the navigation. There is no navigation. So that's one of the first things you need to look at doing, and just, making these other minor improvements as well. But other than that, you need to probably focus on, say, your contest or your competition, which you currently don't have, but I'm sure you're going to do that. So I'm sure you could run a nice competition to attract people to your store, to get people coming to your store. And also what we looked at the very beginning was the pop-up opt-in. You want to do something like a 15% off your first order. Okay, I hope that's been useful, both for the students who've created these stores and for the rest of you that are looking at this now and seeing perhaps, yeah, these are things that I need to improve in my own store as well. Okay, speak to you soon.
Hi everybody. Right, here's another store critique, and the first thing I want to say about this store is that the student who's created this store has put in a lot of effort here, and this is actually a very nice store. There's not a lot wrong with this store, but there are a few things, and I'm going to point them out. Now this is a great slider, by the way. All the images are very, very clear. This particular image here is really good, the one with the elephant. But they're all good. All these slider images, they're not stretched, they're not distorted, they're not blurry. So they're all good images. So that's a nice slider. If you're going to use a slider, that's what it should be like. And also this text here coming up, because of the way it's done, it still looks okay. And some of the sliders I've looked at on other stores, it doesn't look right the way the text is actually overlaying the images. But here, the way it's done, with the overlay here, this looks fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There is something on the slider I want to point out, but I can't seem to, let me just try. Here we are, this site gives 5% of the profits to animal charities, which is good. Basically what you need to do here with this is blurry and it's also hidden underneath this image here. So you need to bring this over a bit, perhaps put this on every single slider image. The other thing that you need to be careful of is using the actual logos of these particular charities, the copyright implications there of using the logos. So what I would probably do here is actually just get rid of this image, but instead have a page on this store. So under About Us here, where you've got this menu here, you might have a page about charities we support, and then you can list them along with links to those charities, and that way you wouldn't be using any of their images and infringing on any copyrights. So that's what I would do in that case. I think it'd be good to have a page as well, and rather than just have a link to them, also just have a little bit of information about each one and why you actually chose that one to support. Okay, now scrolling down this page here, very good layout. I do like this layout. At the top here we've got some categories, and then down here we've just got products, and even though some of these products don't have a transparent background, that still looks okay. This does look good. I like this here, latest collection, that's nice. And this is nice here. The way this is done with the collections is very nice. So that's a nice home page. Now let's just go and take a look at some of the other pages here. Just one thing to point out, decor is spelt wrong here. It's D-E-C-O-R. I don't think there's an E on the end. Okay, nice page layout here as well. It's nice and clean. It looks good. And this all looks really nice. I'm just going to click through on one of these items, have a look at how the student has created the descriptions. And if you are obsessed with unicorns or know anyone who is, this or unicorn cushion cover, just check something here. The name of your store is all with 3 W's, so just make sure that you're consistent right the way through. You've only got 2 W's there. Very small thing, but just wanted to point it out anyway. Made of cotton linen, comes in 23 different varieties. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, when you get time, you can always come back and expand on these descriptions, but this is fine, this is okay. And also, I like the way this is done. So this particular theme, I think it must be a theme specific thing. Instead of showing all the images going down and across here, which can be just a little bit too much sometimes when there are a lot of variations, then the customer can just click on any one of these and it brings up the actual design, which I think is really good. And this is a nice product as well, so charging £13 for this, I think that's okay, to be perfectly honest. I think that'd be fine. So let me just take a look at a couple more. I'm going to click on home decor and some overlapping products, but that's fine because that's the way it works when we have categories. Okay, that's great. There's nothing wrong with these pages. There's nothing wrong with the home page. Just going to go ahead and click on some of these About Us pages. So let's take a look at the FAQs. Nicely laid out, easy to read. Now the one thing I'm going to point out here is that this is illegal. Strictly no returns or exchanges unless there is a defect in the product. That's illegal in the UK. So as far as, and in Europe, so with the distance selling regulations, you need to give a 14-day, and you must do that by law. So I recommend that you just read up on those distance selling regulations in the UK and Europe, but you do need to give the customer 14 days. So that's one of the things that we have to do in Europe. Now I know it's not the same in the US, and they have a different rule there, which is a little bit more, it's easier and on the actual retailer, but in Europe that's what we have to abide by. And one more thing just to point out here, you have a slight inconsistency with the email addresses you're using. Right here you've got sales@soullink.co.uk, and right here you have ask us a question, sales@or.shop. So yeah, I would say that you probably meant to put this email here up here as well. Just a small thing again, very small. And just have a quick look here to see what you have written here for the refund policy. Yeah, this is right. Now you see our policy lasts for 14 days. If 14 days have gone by since your purchase, unfortunately we can't offer you a refund or exchange. You'll be charged a £5 handling fee. So I'm assuming this means if they return something within the 14 days, I would say this is a little bit harsh, and I think if people do click on this return policy, that will actually lose you a lot of sales. Yep, that's fine, and you've got things that are exempt. And for your return, to return your product, you should mail to 11 Castleton Court, Kirkcaldy, and you need to put a name there as well. So I would just say mail your product to All Shop at 11 Castleton Court, Kirkcaldy. And you'll be responsible for paying your own shipping costs. That's perfectly acceptable. So that's fine. I'm not going to go through all of the pages. It's not necessary. One thing that I didn't show here because it actually came up on screen before I started recording the video, but the actual pop-up box for opt-in email, that just says enter your email to get updates. Now, I think you know probably from other store critiques, if you've looked at the other store critiques I did before this one, that you need to make that a lot more attractive, something like 15% of your first order, that sort of thing. Let's just scroll down and check out the footer. Footer here is fine. We've got news here. I'm not sure if you anything on that there, but just have a look. Nothing there yet, but I'm assuming that's where you intend to actually put your blog. So that's fine. The footer is great. You might want to think about putting something in here. Perhaps when you have your blog live, you could have your recent posts here as well, just to fill up the space. But other than that, it is good. And you'll probably be adding, I would imagine, you're probably going to add your rewards app to your store so that customers can get points when they are purchasing and save up their points against future purchases. And also I would recommend again to have a chat app here. So the Facebook chat app is a good one, and that's the one I like, which allows customers to send you messages via Facebook Messenger. So that's the best one, I think. But definitely have a chat app, because when you have a chat app, then the contact us page becomes far less important. I'm just taking a look at your contact us page here. So yeah, you've just got a form. So basically this becomes far less important when you have a chat app, and it gives so much credibility and to your store, and gives your potential customers so much confidence because they feel that then that you are transparent. So if you've got a chat app, especially when that's a Facebook link to Facebook Messenger, they feel there's a transparency about your store and you're not in any way anonymous or trying to hide behind your website. So I do recommend that. Now, other than that, and the other things that I've pointed out here, this is a really good store, and this, you know, is definitely one of the best stores that I have seen from students. So congratulations on this. You have done really, really well. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. I'm going to create a new video for the next store critique because this has gone on a little bit. Speak to you in a minute. All right, now another nice site here. This site is selling men's leather bags. And first thing, nice slider here. The images are not stretched, distorted or blurry. But one thing I will say about the slider is the overlay is too big. So all you need to do is reduce the size down here. If we think about the critique that I did there previously with the same theme and the same type of overlay, but that student had made it a good bit smaller, which made it look better. Right now it's just looking a little bit big and a little bit intrusive. But that's just a small thing, so you can do that very quickly. But the slider images are fine, there's nothing wrong with that. Now up here, your shipping bar, your free shipping bar, which is great. Click here for new deals. However, it doesn't work. When I click on it, it actually takes me to the Shopify login page. So that's not working at the moment, but this is still a great idea to have. It's also very clear, you can't miss this. So it's big enough, and it's the black background and the gold writing, which works very well. And it works well for this site. Has a nice color theme. I do like the purple here, and the whole color theme throughout the site is nice. And it does go well with the niche. This is directed obviously at men as well. So the page, the home page here, yeah, this is good. It's a nice home page. So we have a similar layout here as the last critique that I did, similar homepage layout, which is a nice homepage layout. And here also the student has got down here this month's featured item, which is actually a really good idea. Now this site has higher priced products. These products are priced right up to $200 to $300. So these are higher priced items. So this is a good idea, having a featured item for the month. You might just want to look at making sure that anything that you have that is date related, for example, start the new year off with a bang, because we're going into February now when I'm making this particular video. You should probably remove anything that's related to New Year. Okay, let's take a look at some here. Let's go to bestsellers. Good page layout again, nice and clean. Good images. All these images have transparent backgrounds, which is good. And for these kind of price products, images are going to be very, very important. So the transparent background is going to be very important for something that's priced, you know, as high as this. So let's just go ahead and click through on one. So we've got the description here, and then down here features, which is great. And down here a little bit more about the actual material. This bag has been designed to accommodate the user. Instead of saying the user, I would just say you. This bag has been designed to accommodate you in just about every environment imaginable, regardless of whether you are attending an important business appointment or meeting up with your fellow nerds at the library. I wouldn't say fellow nerds. I would say mates or something like that, but not fellow nerds. But that is still good. That's a good description. And as I say down here, great the way you've got the features listed as bullet points. Now, straight away we can see here that this student is using the Facebook Messenger. He's branded it as well. So his own Facebook page, he's got his logo here and he's got his Facebook header here. That looks good. And I think with this type of product that the discount from $299 to $272 is actually perfect. Now the reason for that is if you, for a type of product like this, it's a luxury product, it's a high-end product, it's a high-end bag. If you make the discount too big, it actually devalues the product. The type of customer who buys these kind of items, they're not looking for discounts, they're actually looking for the best. That's what they're looking for. That small discount there of just $25 is perfect. Now let's take a look at the FAQs page. Good. Yep, there's nothing wrong with that, that's fine. Now the Get Help page, this is just the form. Let's take a look at the contest giveaway page next. Enter below for your chance to win a free Moshi vintage leather school backpack. You might want to consider changing school to college, or maybe even putting school and college backpack. So that's fine. You've got your questions there and submit your answer to win. First name, email address. That's great. Now I'm going to take a look at the footer. Terms and conditions, privacy policy. Let's take a look at the refund and return. So you're giving the customer 30 days from the day the item was received. Now, if that's what you need to do regarding the Consumer Protection Act in your state, New York State, that's fine. Now, if you don't need to give 30 days, I would consider dropping that to 14. But if you need to give 30 days, that's fine, give 30 days. And item must be returned in original condition. Some information about goods damaged in transit or faulty goods. So that's all fine, that's all looking good. Now the one thing I will say here is that nowhere on this website do you have an address, a physical address. I would recommend that you do that, mainly because you've got these high priced products here. When you're using Facebook Messenger, it's not so important to have the physical address. It certainly is better to have it, but when you've got higher priced products, I think the more transparent you can be, the better. And let's check delivery information. Fine, yep, okay. And one more thing down here, you have Contact Us, which is the form, but you also have Support, which is another form. Now you don't need both because they're both the same thing. So this is a nice page, so I would keep this and remove the Contact Us page. Now regarding this page though, there is one thing wrong with it. There is no way for me to get back off this page without using the back arrow. So I could click on one of these here, buy now or bestseller, but really most of the time people want to get back either to the home page or to the actual collections. Either the menu needs to be here or a button saying go back to the home page. It needs to be a very clear way to go back. You do not want people to have to click the back arrow, which is what I'm going to do now. But before I do that, this has come up, and I think this might come up. I think you might have this set to come up when I go to leave. So clicking the back arrow would trigger that. Start the new year off right with huge saving. Just huge savings, should be an S on the end of there. Get new product releases, should be an S on there, and discounts sent direct to your inbox. Now that's okay, but again it's saying start the new year off right. So we're at the end of January now, so that's a little bit out of date. Even better, if you could do a 5% off. Now I'm suggesting 5% off for you, 5 or maybe 10% off even. 10% off their first order for subscribing. You don't need to go higher than that for this type of product. So 5% off will probably even work. If someone's going to pay $250 for a product, then even 5% off is worth having. So 5 or 10% off on the first order, that would work a lot better. You'll get a lot more sign-ups onto your list if you do that. Now, other than everything I've pointed out here, I can't see anything wrong with this site. So this is actually a good site, just needs a few tweaks as I've covered here in the lesson. It has a nice logo. This is actually a really nice logo. It really does suit the style of the website and the niche, the type of product it is. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, here we are in the next one. Now this store is selling travel accessories, so different types of travel accessories. And this is another nice store as well. Now the pop-ups come up for the email opt-in, so I'm going to talk about that first because once I close it down I may not see it again. So it's been done nicely, okay, because what this student has done is she's put a background in here, which is nice. I also like the way busy question mark, don't miss out, get updates to your email. That's actually a really nice touch, but it would still be better if there was more of an incentive for the visitor to sign up. So by more of an incentive, I usually mean to have a discount. So, 15% off, 10% off, whatever your first order. Or it could even be to get contest details. So it could even be subscribe for details of a contest, but then you would have to say what the prize was as well. But with a bit of creativity, this student could still use this same style of box, but actually give the visitor more of an incentive to sign up. Okay. Now, first thing is on this header image here, which is a slider as well, first of all, the text overlay cannot be read. I mean, I can read it when I look at it, but it's the wrong color, it's the wrong style, so everything about it is wrong. The word travel is also spelt wrong here. So this would be very important. Having that word spelt wrong, somebody sees that when they first arrive on a site, it's going to be very off-putting. Definitely need to do some work on this overlay text. If the theme is not allowing you to create the type of overlay we've looked at in the last store critique and the one before that, just get rid of the text completely. Just don't have it there at all. Now the menu, same applies. This is the wrong color. You can't have a light colored menu on a light colored background. Now it looks okay on this background, but it doesn't look okay on the other background. So you need to find a color that suits all the images in your slider, or you need to change the images to suit. So if you've got light colored images or light at the top, these images, if they were light at the top, you could have a dark colored menu. Or if you have images that are dark at the top, you can have a light colored menu. You need to get around that. You need to work on that so that your menu does show up. It's also a little bit small, so the text is a little small. For this big image you've got here, you want to have bigger text here for your menu, if possible. If you can't have bigger text, then at least get the color right so that it stands out on the background of all of the images. Similarly with Shop Now, this is tiny. I mean, it's way too small. You either need to be able to make this bigger and make it stand out, or get rid of it completely. Also, something similar applies to your logo. Now, there's nothing wrong with your logo, but it doesn't actually stand out at all on the background here. It doesn't stand out here at all. You can't even see it. You can see the sunflower, but not the text. So again, this is something that you do need to work on. It could be that you need to change your theme. I don't know. But if you can't get these things right with this theme, I would definitely look at changing the theme. Now you've got your free shipping bar up here. Good again. But again, you need to change the color of the text. If you're using a light colored background on your free shipping bar, use a dark colored text. So you've got light green for the background of the shipping bar. The text could even be dark green. It doesn't necessarily have to be black. It could be a dark grey as well, something like that. Now, scrolling down the home page. The home page looks nice. Good layout here for the home page. There's nothing at all wrong with this home page. What's your travel style? At Sunflower Musk, we provide a hub for travellers to explore a curated collection of stylish, fun and convenient travel accessories. Travelling is our passion, and our goal is to make the traveller's experience a memorable one with these amazing items. Welcome. That's great. That is actually really good. And down here you've got subscribe to our newsletter and get a 15% off code. So you've got it down there. Just also have it in your pop-up opt-in box. Okay, let's take a look. Click through now at some of the collections. Let's go to Fun Travel. Accessories that add fun to any experience. Great. We can also go back to all here if we want to. Yeah, you've got your savings here, which is good. Just going to go ahead and click through on one of these items and see what the description's like and the images are like. That's fine, images are fine. Great. Canvas cat handbag. If I were you, I would try to be a little bit more creative with the title. but it's okay as canvas cat handbag. But if you can add a bit more to the title, then do. Love cats carry this cute bag to show your love in style. That's good, I like that. Chic canvas material, high quality, measurements, 100% money back guarantee, and you've got in high demand. So I'm guessing that you're drop shipping here from overseas, from China, and there's nothing wrong with putting that message there, in high demand, expect delivery within 2 to 3 weeks. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's a pretty good idea. All right, good. Now let me just go on down to the footer. If you can, make the links here, if you can make the links darker so they stand out a little more, just a little bit light. So if you can darken the grey, they don't have to be black, but if you just make it like a very dark grey. And let me just check the About Us page. Great. One thing I would do here is, instead of having centre aligned, because centre aligned is actually quite old fashioned, I would go for left aligned. With anything at all, I would go for left aligned. And email us anytime. You might also want to consider putting a physical address on the About Us page as well. Let's check the Contact Us page. So you just have the form there on the Contact Us page. Going for the refund policy here. Okay, good. It does need formatting. If you look here, I'm not sure what's happened here. I think perhaps you've copied and pasted from somewhere else and the formatting's been all lost. So you need to get some formatting there. Now I see that you do have an address here, which is fine. You could also put that address on your About Us page. Just have a quick look at your policy here, and you've got 30 days. So you've got a 30-day refund policy. Now if you're shipping from China, then you need to make sure that the customer actually has time to receive the product. So if you're only shipping to the United States, that's okay, because you're going to get 98% of your orders shipped within and delivered within 3 weeks anyway. So they do have time. So that would be okay. If you're shipping other places in the world from China, then you may need to consider changing this. Instead of saying 30 days since your purchase, saying something like 10 days or 14 days after receiving, something like that. All right, now I don't see here, unless I'm missing something, I do not see here delivery information. So shipping and delivery. So you need a clear way for customers to easily see when to expect delivery of their item. So I recommend that you add that. Now right here you've got a link to Facebook and to Instagram. Great. I also suggest that you add the Facebook Messenger. So adding the Facebook chat app as well to your website, that really does help a lot. It does go a long way, as I said before, in credibility and transparency and customer confidence. Okay, a few things need doing to this site, but most of them are aesthetic things. So it's mostly for the presentation purposes, what the site actually looks like. So just working on those things that we've covered here. But again, still a good site, and still I can see that quite a bit of work has been put into this site, and it's not going to take a lot really now to put this site right. Okay, see you in a minute. All right, now this particular student store is in the fashion niche. Now the first thing that hits me when I get to this site, so when I first arrive on this site, is that it's quite dark. So the header and the first image, the main slider image, they're both quite dark or dull. Now the colour up here, which is like a forest green, is probably not the best kind of colour to use for this kind of niche. So really it needs to be brightened up quite a lot. This particular image here, well, let's just go back to this colour first of all. For this kind of niche, so for the fashion niche, you want your site to be quite bright looking. Now, if you were selling, say, high-class men's suits or something like that, then you could have the header up here black, and that would look okay. So more like the classy look. But for this type of fashion, you really want your site to be bright. So this colour here, this dark green, this very kind of dull foresty green colour doesn't really go well. So you're looking for something a lot brighter here. You want to brighten the look up. And the same applies with this image. Now, some of your other images are okay, but this particular image here, I mean, it's not stretched or blurry or anything like that, but it's a little drab. So the other images, let's just click through. Men's watches, so that's okay as an image. And this image here is fine as well. That's a nice bright image, and that's what you want. And same with this image here for baby collection. That's a nice bright image as well. You just want to try and brighten things up a little bit. The second thing is that you really need a logo here. So rather than just having the text of the name of your store, you want a logo there. Okay, let's scroll on down now and look at the home page. So we've got the collections here, and you know, this looks nice. The way this is laid out looks nice. So we've got clearance items sale, that's good as well. And then here we've got some featured products. So let's just go ahead and click through on one of the categories. And the product pages, this is okay. For this kind of product here, this is okay without having a transparent background for all of the images. That's perfectly acceptable. I'm going to go ahead and click through on one, take a look at the descriptions and images. Okay, so the image is okay, there's nothing wrong with the images. However, there is something wrong with the titles and descriptions of these products. So basically here, what the student has done is imported from AliExpress, but then not edited anything. So perhaps these titles have been edited. I can't say for sure they haven't, but there is certainly no description here. There's no description at all. Basically, this is just what's come straight from AliExpress, straight imported from AliExpress. A lot of it doesn't make any sense at all to the customer looking. Time to market 2017, style in ear. So a lot of these things don't actually make any sense. It's not what a customer would want to see. So all this needs to be worked on. You need to work on the titles and descriptions for all of the products on your store. Okay, let's take a look at the contact us page. Right, it's just the form. Let's take a look at delivery information. Delivery is typically within 2 to 3 weeks in the US, international 4 to 5 weeks. If you would like more info, contact us at support@fashioncashing.com. Let's take a look at the refunds and return. Okay, well, first of all, this has obviously been copied and pasted from somewhere, and there's no formatting here. The actual content of it is original packing no later than 14 business days from the day your item was received by you. That's fine. So you've got that part in there, that's correct. But this is not much good like this. So it needs to be put in properly and formatted rather than just one great big block like this. And going down to the footer here as well, there is nothing here on this site really that gives the customer any kind of confidence. So you don't have any about us page, you don't have a physical address. In fact, you've nothing on this store except for an email address. So the email address here, support@fashioncashing.com, that's all you've got. You don't have the Facebook chat app, which I highly recommend that you do get. And you don't have anything else. So a customer or a visitor coming to this store, I think you're unlikely to get any sales on this store as it stands. So what I've said so far, there's a fair bit of work to be done here. You need to work on each of your product pages, each of the listings. You need to work on the color scheme to brighten things up a bit, and you need a logo for the site. Now you have got your rewards program in place here. Create a store account, and that's great. So the customer can create the store account. Right, so when a customer has 150 points, they get $5 off. But if they've got 750 points, they only get $10 off. So that doesn't really make sense when you think about it. If somebody gets $5 off for 150 points, then they should be able to get $10 off for at least 300 points. So, you know, the most that they should need to have to get $10 off is 300 points, if you see what I mean. But good, you've got that in place, just need to change the parameters there a bit. All right, so let's just go and back and have a quick look again at a couple more of the collections. Let's go back to home. So we've got the baby collection. Let's take a quick look. Yes, that's well presented again. And your jewellery is okay. With jewellery, it is often better to try and have a transparent background for all of the items. When I'm listing jewellery and from AliExpress, I don't list anything that I can't get an image with a transparent background. I just don't really bother listing it most of the time. And there's so many to choose from as well. So you can usually get the ones with the very, very best images. Just going to click on this. And with this one, you clearly have made the edits. So probably you're working your way through them all and you just haven't got around to doing the others yet. However, the actual description here, you should try and extend that a little bit. Try and sell it. You're trying to, on your product listing pages, what you're doing is somebody has clicked through, so they're interested, but now you want to sell it to them. So you do your very best with your actual descriptions. A couple of sentences here and then onto the features. And one more thing here is that while I've been on this store, and I was also on it previously as well for a little while before I made the video, I haven't seen any kind of pop-up, so any opt-in pop-up so that you can build your list. You have got sign up over here, and that's great. And you've got your get your 15% off your first order, and that's a nice pop-up box you've got there. But very few people, very few visitors are going to deliberately click on there to sign up. So you want to have that popping up at some point while visitors are on your store. Okay, so a few things to do on this store, but at the same time, you've put a good deal of effort into the store, I can see that, and most of the things that you're going to need to do, with the exception of fixing the rest of your product pages and the descriptions and the titles and that kind of thing. So with the exception of that, the other things that you need to do are not going to take too long at all.